talk about the economy once again. Utah in a state of growth. Forbes magazine calling Utah the best state for business and careers. It is also ranked among the top in CNBC's list of America's top states for business. Joining us right now is Utah Governor Gary Herbert. The Republican assumed the office in 2009 after GOP presidential hopeful John Huntsman left to become the U.S. ambassador in China. And Governor, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. We watch the economy very closely. Some of the recent numbers we've seen on joblessness have been improving, although yesterday's numbers for the country didn't look all that great. What have you seen in Utah, though, and how has Utah been able to buck the trend of what we've seen nationally?
Well, Utah's had great success growing the economy coming out of the Great Recession. I think in large part because we've not betrayed principles of fiscal conservative nature. We live within our means. We don't borrow incessantly. We have a reasonable debt, and we put money away for a rainy day, and that's the foundation we've built upon. We also have worked to empower the private sector and create a business-friendly environment that's predictable and certain, and consequently our business job creation is growing at about the second or third fastest rate in the nation, and our unemployment rate is stabilized and dropped, and we're down to 6.4%, about the lowest in Intermountain West and Rocky Mountain West.
You're also expecting a budget surplus?
We will. We'll have growth money. Our projections are that we're going to have about $400 million in growth this fiscal year. My budget proposal is to encourage that money to be invested into education. We know that if you're going to have a successful long-term economic growth, you've got to have a skilled labor force, and education is the key. So as a state, we're investing more into education. We are cutting taxes. I'll have a proposal. We've already cut taxes before and have a lower, flatter tax at 5% corporate and individual rate. But we're going to cut our unemployment insurance rates now here to give our 85,000 businesses in Utah another tax break. But more importantly, we've gone through and done regulation reform. As we've got around the state, our businesses, the number one issue for all of them is the regulations that are burdensome. And we've done everything we can to streamline and make business friendly, making sure we're protecting the public, and regulations are an important part of that, and level the playing field. But I can tell you the federal regulations are the most burdensome and causing grief in the marketplace. We're doing everything we can to make sure that Utah is business friendly.
Governor, this is MLK. Just something that always surprises me is how much innovation and entrepreneurship originates in Utah. I was actually with one of your young entrepreneurs yesterday, Josh James, who I know you know, and he's started his second business and talks about the business climate in Utah. So, kudos for that. And when I asked him, why it was such a business-friendly environment, he echoes a lot of what you say, but also indicated that probably the number one priority is education, in terms of making sure that education continues to be a driver for that kind of talent coming out of Utah.
Josh has mentioned that to me, in fact, too, as have other entrepreneurs. We've got to have skills commensurate with the demands of the marketplace. We have put in place a goal in Utah that we have our adult population, ages 21 to 65, that has post-high school certification or college university degree by 2020. That's an ambitious goal to get 2/3 of the population at that level. But that's what the demands of the marketplace are. If we don't reach that skill level, we will underperform as an economy. So we all know we don't produce enough engineers, people involved in our STEM education programs, science, technology, engineering, and math. We're going to do in Utah all we can to make sure that our labor force is skilled to accommodate the demands of the growing, expanding global marketplace.
Governor, which federal regulations are hurting the market and business in Utah right now that you'd like to see repealed and overturned?
Well, I think there's probably a lot out there that the marketplace is concerned about. I think the heavy hand of the federal government saying you've got to do this, as opposed to the invisible hand of the Adam Smith, is the biggest problem. Some of the things that stifle our ability to have commerce I know the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act has caused a lot of concern in the states, not just in Utah, but the uncertainty of what the future is going to bring, I think is the biggest problem. And it's not just President Obama. The Congress has got to be held accountable for their part and parcel in this too. But when you have a federal government that was reaching into, I think, an overreach into the states and saying you will, in fact, buy and purchase a certain commodity, I believe that's unconstitutional. I think when we get that resolved, that will help free up some uncertainty, and I think give some, at least the business community, a little bit more peace of mind.
Governor, why do you think that John Huntsman, your predecessor, hasn't gained more traction in the primaries to this point?
You know, that's hard to know. There's a lot of factors that go into politics, as we all know. Governor Huntsman has a stellar record. He was a very popular governor here in Utah. His credibility and his foreign policy is probably without peer. I think he got into the race a little bit late. I think that's part of it. I think people have pictured him as a little more moderate, and he is a bit more moderate on some of the social issues. But I think getting in late has been a part of it. And, of course, we saw a little surge in New Hampshire. I don't know how it's going to play out in South Carolina or Florida. But he's a quality individual. He and Mary Kay are wonderful people and certainly bring a lot to be considered to the quest for the presidency.
Who are you supporting? Are you supporting John Huntsman? Are you supporting Mitt Romney, who also has some experience in Utah with the Olympics there?
Yes. I support Mitt Romney and Governor Huntsman. I think Mitt I supported 4 years ago. I think he is the consummate business person who's actually been in the marketplace, actually having to do battle in a free market to create jobs and economic opportunity. I think he and Ann are, again, a great family. I think would be a great representative of us in the White House. I think he has the experience to balance in not only the private sector but the public sector. He's given good service. He's had to deal as a more conservative Republican in a very liberal state of Massachusetts, and I think that's been difficult. I think that's hard. But he's been able to reach across the aisle with the Democrats there and accomplish, I think, quite a lot in Massachusetts. 19 tax cuts, balancing the budget, leaving with a surplus. I like his balanced experience, and clearly we've seen that in Utah. As he came to with the Olympics and turned them around. I think that the example of a turning around in businesses, in the private sector, in the Olympics, in Massachusetts, and certainly we need a turnaround here in Washington, D.C.
Governor, real quickly, we've heard that ski areas everywhere are having trouble with the snow. How's the snow in Utah?
You know, it hasn't been as robust. Our ski totals are between 2 and 3 feet. We have snow on the way. We have snowmaking machines so people can come here and ski. We have what we claim to be the greatest snow on earth. We just don't have much of it right now.
I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add to those totals in February, I hope.
Well, come on in.
I'm going to be out there at Alton in March, so you got to get some snow going here, Governor.
Well, we're going to spend a little extra time on our knees and ask for the good Lord to send us a little more snow.
Now we finally, in the interview, comes what we really care about.
This is the important stuff.
Governor Herbert, I want to thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Okay, appreciate it.